brilliant entrepreneur, do you wish you could streamline your social media so that it didn't take up so many days of your week or so many weeks of your month or so many hours of your day? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to share with you in today's episode. This is episode number 447 of the Heart Centered Business Podcast, which means you can find the relevant links and the show notes for today's episode over at tashcorbin.com/447. Hello, I'm Tash Corbin, a business strategist and mentor based on the Sunshine Coast in Australia. The mission of this podcast is to help heart-centered entrepreneurs to make more money and in doing so, change the world for the better. This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Gubbi Gubbi and Jinnaburra people. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. This might surprise you, but my big tips and my core advice when it comes to streamlining your social media is not using AI. It's not using a bunch of prompts that someone else has written for you. It's not outsourcing your social media either. Especially not if you still don't have your strategy, message, and voice working. Your social media content is your voice online. It's how you strike up and continue a conversation with your audience. So by outsourcing it to AI, outsourcing it to other humans, or using someone else's prompts, you are missing out on the opportunity to develop your voice online. You're missing out on the opportunity to really connect with your audience in a way that you can sustain. So, in order to streamline your social media, I've got 6 strategies that I recommend in order for you to get it done sooner and not have it take up all of your time. Number 1 is to batch up optimized posts. And what I mean by optimized is that they are doing balanced jobs in relation to your client attraction process, and you're clear on what it is that the goal of the post actually is. This takes a little bit of practice and it is a skill set to develop. But something that I've done before with the clients inside my takeoff program, and I'm doing it with my planning posse, is a project called the Imperfect Post Project. In the Imperfect Post Project, we create 100 imperfect but optimized posts for social media. And the way that we do that is we look at posts through the lens of their role in the client attraction process. A lot of people, when they're creating their social media posts, try and get every post to do all of the jobs of their client attraction process. They have a catchy hook, so they try and reach as many people as possible. They have lots and lots of value-based content, so it's trying to nurture a relationship. It also is trying to promote something or have a call to action, so it's either inviting or converting into a paid product or service. But if you try and get one post to do all jobs in the client attraction process, it won't do any of them particularly well. And that is why I recommend breaking up the types of posts that you're sharing on socials in their different client attraction process roles. So for example, having a portion of your posts focused on reach. What kinds of posts do you share that are going to get engagement and are going to reach the most people? This is generally your short form content. These are things where you're asking questions. These are sometimes where you're sharing behind the scenes or a little bit more of the personal touch of what goes on for you in your business as a business owner. Then have a portion of your posts that are focused on nurture. They are building a relationship between you and your audience. So yes, that could be things like giving people helpful and valuable advice, but also it can be asking your audience questions, but asking them through the lens of getting to know them and getting to know them through the lens of the work that you do. I do not want to see another post asking people whether they prefer tea or coffee. That has nothing to do with what it is that you help people with in your business. And all you're doing is fishing for engagement with no real purpose. Instead, get really curious. What is it that you would love to know about your audience members? What is it that you would love to hear about from them? What is it that would help you to deeply understand what they need, what they get stuck on, what their goals are, specifically related to the work that you do in your business? And then we have a portion of your posts that are optimized to inviting people to step closer to self-identifying as a hot lead. So this can be things where you make offers of free one-to-one support with something. You make offers for people to do single sessions with you at a discounted price. But it can also be where you ask questions and share content that has a call to action that only hot leads who are interested in working with you would actually take. Again, remember that this kind of process of batching up your posts and thinking about their role in your client attraction process can take a bit of practice. But even just considering what role in the client attraction process would this post be implementing can help you be a little more strategic and a little more optimized. And then finally, your convert posts. So these are the ones where you just get straight to it and promote your offer, promote a service, promote a product, promote a free resource that gets people onto your mailing list and then draws them through an email funnel. Be intentional and clear about what that post needs to achieve and stop putting pressure on every single post to do a multitude of jobs. Tip number 2 to streamline your social media is to separate content creation from content distribution. Something that my brain in particular does not love is task switching. It's something that I struggle with as a neurodivergent entrepreneur. So if I'm in content creation mode, I need to stay in content creation mode. Distributing that content, i.e. scheduling it onto social media, is a completely separate task. One requires my brain to be in creativity mode. The other requires my brain to be in process mode. Not only that, distribution is one of the easiest things to outsource when you've got a good structure and system behind how you create content. So that could be one of the things that you do outsource in order to streamline your social media. Don't outsource the creation of the content, just outsource the distribution. Tip number 3 is to do your content creation for socials at your desk on your computer. And one of the things that I also do is I set a timer. So I turn off all distractions. I put my phone and my computer onto do not disturb mode. I set a timer for 25 minutes. And I have a little race with myself. How many reach posts can I create in this 25 minutes? How many questions can I come up with to ask my audience in this 25 minutes? How many promo posts can I write for whatever it is I am planning to promote for that period of time in my 25 minutes? The more I do this, the more I can create. And the more I create, the more I find my voice, the more I get good at writing copy for my business. So do it at your desk, be very focused, set that timer, and get creating. Strategy number 4 is to let go of perfection and stop writing to a set structure. Sometimes when you use other people's templates or prompts to write your content for social media, you end up sounding like everyone else. Not only that, your posts all start looking like ads. The voice that you use in those posts starts to be a bit robotic or a bit corporate-esque. And what is the most likely post that people will scroll on past on social media? It's an ad. So if you make your content look like ads, you're making it more likely people will scroll on by. If your content reads like an ad, it reads in this robotic voice, or it always has the same call to action and 45 hashtags at the end of it, you are just sending quick signals to your audience. This is an ad. This is trying to sell you something. And social media is social. Instead, focus on writing organically, writing socially, and writing conversationally. Let go of that perfectionism and stop writing to that set structure that you think an ad should look like or should sound like, because it's actually having the opposite effect that you want it to have. You want your social content to get engagement. You want to stop the scroll. And the number one type of post that people will most quickly scroll past is an ad. So stop making your posts look like them. Tip number 5 is speak to your best client. So when you're sitting down to write your content for social media, I want you to picture or even have your profile photo of your favorite client up on the screen in front of you. Think about them. What do you want to say to them? What questions do you want to ask them? What advice do you want to give them? What would you say to them? And think about them as one person. The more that you write to the individual, the more resonant it feels to the reader. And tip number 6, be very clear on your strategy. The goal of your post on social media isn't always reach. As I said, we've got different roles in your client attraction process that these posts need to perform. So think about, is this actually a reach post? Is this the kind of post that I want to get in front of strangers? Or is this the kind of post that I want to go viral? Not every post's goal is to go viral. In fact, I'll link back to a previous episode of this podcast in which I talked about what happened when one of my posts went viral. Because we often focus on the cold audience when we're posting on social media. We aren't thinking about speaking to our warmest audience or moving people who are already interested in working with us just a little teeny tiny bit closer. But the more you see your content as all contributing to one overall strategy and ecosystem, the less pressure you put on each post. And the more each post is resonant and connecting with your audience members. So think about the different roles in the client attraction process: reach, nurture, invite, and convert. And instead, just give each post one job to do. And when you're clear on your strategy, that post is far more likely to be able to achieve it. Now, if you're listening to this and you're wondering, what do I need to do on Facebook, or what do I need to do on Instagram to make my social media content do its job, then I have a fabulous free resource for you. I have 2 new free trainings that I released just a few weeks ago. The first is $0 Facebook marketing, and the second is $0 Instagram marketing. So if Instagram is your primary platform, grab the Instagram training. And if Facebook is yours, then grab the Facebook one. Both of them focus on the organic strategies that you can use to grow your audience, but also get your content on your primary platform doing all the jobs in your client attraction process. You'll find the link to the free training over at tashcorbin.com/447, where you'll be able to choose which one is right for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. Until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. Bye for now.